And welcome to another episode of the Free Speech Podcast. I'm coming to you from parts unknown. As ever, I'm joined by hate crime himself, Mr. Leo Kearse.
Hello.
The Bayesian sensation.
Woo.
And the man behind the camera, Mooch About Town.
You good?
So we're all good. I'm coming remotely, but you guys are in the studio. So it's been another... In the building, another man. Leo's political career as what's happening, Leo?
It's doing better than your fucking broadband provider. Jesus Christ! Are you recording this on a Game Boy?
I'm recording it using Vodafone, but maybe I'm too far away from the router.
Is it Vodafone, like a wired-in network? Are you doing what all comedians do because they're too cheap to get actual broadband, and you're using your SIM card?
I'm using actual Vodafone broadband, but I'm quite far away from the router. Let me check the speed.
Sounds like you set that up in a very intelligent way.
Well, I obviously did not. How?
Now we're going to spend the first part of the podcast watching Darius do a speed test on his internet.
38 megabits download. 40 megabits.
It's the upload that you need, though. Because you're uploading the information. So you're downloading us to
10,
your thing.
12, 13, 14 megabits, 15. Don't, 16. Do not insult Vodafone broadband. 16 megabit upload.
16 megabits.
Well, I bet when it went, it's like, now I can see high def. I can see every wrinkle of your 40 years of life on your face. But what about when it all crapped out and went to 4 pixels?
Well, obviously, then it's Mooch's fault.
It was like one of those paedophile hunter videos.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Take a seat. Have a seat.
All right, calm down, lads. Let's talk about Leo's political career. How did you do in the elections, Leo?
Well, I didn't win, but I didn't come last. So, I came second last.
So how many people were running?
So it was actually a crowded field. So there are 20 people running.
20 people.
That's on the Glasgow list. So I was running in the sort of regions. They've got this proportional representation thing. So anybody in Glasgow could vote for me. And I got I can't remember 300 or some votes on that. So I didn't do too bad on that. Maybe less than that. I can't remember. Nobody's really sure. But in the constituency there was 9 people running, which is quite a lot. And obviously it's a safe SNP seat. They wouldn't have their justice minister sitting in a seat he's going to lose. So, I wasn't running to win. Everybody's like, oh, you lost. Oh, you idiot. What do you think you're doing standing up for something you believe in, you fucking prick? You know what I mean? I don't know why people are so angry. Oh, sorry, I've got something I feel so strongly about. I actually stood for election about it.
Out of the 9 people, you came 8th?
8th.
Yeah, okay.
It's not last.
That's good for a first time, ain't it?
First time as well.
Who came 9th?
Who came 9th?
And what were their policies?
I can't remember. The Scottish.
I was Darius, their manager as well.
Yeah, we made a few mistakes in the campaign. I think having Darius as an election agent might have been one of them.
Don't pin this on me.
I'm having no internet connection running your campaign.
I'll tell you what screwed it up though. We had 300,000 leaflets ready to go out to the whole of Glasgow, and this is a thing. Like as a candidate, you get this. The Royal Mail sends them out, and we had it all set up in advance. But people told me not to use Scottish printers because no Scottish businesses want to be seen to be going against the SNP.
Okay.
So, like George Galloway, for example, used printers in Essex. People in my party said, no, we should use the Scottish printers because it'll look bad if we use English ones. So we did, and then the leaflets never made it to the Royal Mail in time. So even repeated hassling them and stuff, the Royal Mail didn't send them out. So that's 300. That was my main way of getting my message out. I had these amazing leaflets done, and they didn't go out.
Sound like a conspiracy theory.
At the fault of the Scottish printers or Royal Mail?
I think both. Because, I mean, the Royal Mail, obviously, they're a public sector thing, and the SNP have really consolidated power in Scotland. They control the civil service, the police, everything. They even control comedy. They own the comedy clubs.
Are you saying that Royal Mail would have known these are opposition flyers and stopped them from going out?
I'm saying, like, somehow between the printers and the Royal Mail...
It's big printers. Instead of big pharma, it's big printer who are controlling the media.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm saying is, it wouldn't be out of, considering the other stuff that the SNP have done to control.
It wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility.
Possibility
that happened
for it to be dirty tricks.
Okay, gotcha.
And that would have got you like 7th.
That would have brought me up to like 7th, possibly 5th.
Yeah, that's a shame, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I learned a lot. So if I run again, then I'll probably win.
Well, are you going to run again? Do you think? When are the next elections that you can get into?
It really depends on if like rich people give me money to do it, because I'm definitely not doing it with my own money.
You did it with
That's
your
the
own money
confidence.
this time? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Since people were saying, "Oh, you lost your deposit, you lost your election deposit," it's like, man, do you know how much it costs to like run an election campaign? Even a terrible, shitty one with Darius as the election agent, it's still like tens of thousands of pounds. So
Is there a joke candidate, like, because we had Lord Buckethead, or I don't know what he's changed his name to down in London for the London mayors. Is there like a joke one for Binface? Yeah, Count Binface. Is there joke ones up in Scotland?
well, the problem is I couldn't see one, which made me think that maybe I was the joke candidate.
Pun man.
Fun man! Fun man!
The fun man.
Pun man would have done better.
Oh, I thought it was good. I enjoyed the sort of online retribution you're sort of getting in the trolls that have emerged. It's good fun
Was
to
it
watch.
419 votes you got or something? I saw somebody
Something like that.
in a tweet put 419 laughy face.
Yeah, I've been getting it.
was
Been getting a lot of
Darius.
that from people with like 3 Twitter followers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's good though, man.
They
It
were
must
mocking
be
you.
like a good experience though.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Learned a lot. I'm surprised that so many people in the comedy community are like, absolutely hate me now. Like, considering I was just standing to repeal some legislation that makes it very difficult to do comedy.
Well, politics is very divisive, isn't it? People sort of, if you're not speaking the same language as them, then you are obviously an enemy.
Yeah.
And I think people need to look beyond just what political party you vote.
Yeah.
And just treat people as human beings.
A lot of comedians are like turkeys voting for Christmas with all this woke stuff and with hate crime legislation and stuff like that. Even like so in Scotland, all the comedians, they're all like, "Oh, the SNP are wonderful, they're so great and all this." And the SNP directly own the main comedy clubs, and comedians genuinely think they're being anti-establishment, going to the government-owned comedy clubs and saying how wonderful the government are. You know what I mean? It's mad. Imagine that in the UK if Boris owned the comedy store.
Yeah, but okay, but as ever, the reality is the comedy club was independent. Then the guy ran for the SNP. So was it like SNP bought the comedy club? If I'm right, or am I right?
I think you might be wrong.
What the SNP actually bought? I was under the thing. Tommy Shepherd owned the Stand, and he wasn't SNP. Then he ran for SNP and he got it. That's how he had. So it'd be like if you owned the comedy club and then you ran, and then it would be a Reclaim comedy club.
Why don't the Reclaim Party buy some comedy clubs?
Well, there was Richard Tice from Reform and Lawrence Fox is head of the Reclaim Party. They're talking about opening their own venue that would have like comedy nights, and it would be a pub, a classic sort of British pub, and have comedy as well.
Yeah.
Which would be a great idea.
Yeah. Reclaim comedy.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
On a completely separate note, can I just say, Nico, you're looking a bit buffer.
A bit buffer.
Yeah, your arms, man. Arms and shoulders are looking good.
Oh yeah, I went to the gym on Monday.
I can see. You can see. You can tell. Looking good.
Calling me
Leo's
out, man.
wasting away, but you're looking buff.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, there you go.
I did
Little
some,
compliment.
I did some chest press, and this is my favorite one.
Shoulder press.
The pull down, the lat pull down.
Back.
Oh yeah.
The only muscle I want is this one. That's the only muscle. That looks cool as shit. What's that? Is that your lats? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
your
the only
lats.
thing I want, man. Some big lats. That V shape. That's the coolest muscle. And
Need to
probably
lift
pecs,
heavy.
but yeah.
And take steroids.
Wow, there's new steroids called SARMs that I've been looking into, which are these are apparently better than steroids with less side effects. Not being tried on humans, but apparently they're great. They're called SARMs, And they're the steroids of the 21st century. So my friend's on them, so I'm going to see if he dies, and if he doesn't, then I might take some.
He is the human trial.
He is the human trial.
What's different? What's different between them and like the anabolic things that Russian female gymnasts used to take?
So my understanding, and it's a cursory one, is like take steroids, it affects the whole body, right? All of your receptors. So and everything.
Adrenals.
It doesn't discriminate. But SARMs have been made so they only target your androgen receptors. So they only really target, like, you know, the testosterone boosting parts. So you don't get all the miscellaneous side effects from them.
So you don't get the what do you call it when you grow breasts and stuff, because the testosterone gets turned into
mastitis or whatever it is.
It's called gynecomastia. I think you can still get side effects, but they're far less severe than when you take steroids, apparently.
You don't get the breasts and the long nipples.
Well, you can, because it still raises. Basically, the way you get that is you raise your testosterone so high that when you come off it, your body's like, what the fuck? There's no testosterone, and then it's overrun by estrogen, and then you grow tits and get emotional.
So what happened to you, Darius?
They say that's what happened to Izzy in his last fight.
Izzy who?
Israel Adesanya.
Style.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. In his last fight, if you look at one of his tits, it's a bit long and saggy.
Oh, yeah.
And people were saying it's steroids.
You can tell when someone's been on the juice. If you look at The Rock in like the late 90s, The Rock
Rock is on steroids.
No, but he had bitch tits really bad. So in the late 90s, he started wrestling in a t-shirt out of shame. And he had the operation done to get rid of his bitch tits. But yeah, he is on steroids.
Yeah, of course.
And you see guys in the gym sometimes with like long nipples from the steroids. And it's like, yeah, you're muscly, but you got long nipples. So what the fuck? You just look like a muscly person with long... I'd rather be skinny and have normal nipples.
There's a surgery for it, Darius?
You can... Well, not for long nipples. I think long nipples is a curse from God that you can't sort out. But you can get rid...
I'm pretty sure it's just scissors and you just clip that shit. I don't...
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Complex. But gynecomastia, which is actual like breast tissue, they have to cut that out. When I did steroids, I got it, but because I looked so shit, right? Because it went away on its own, but I went to the doctors about it. Because I looked so shit, I still wasn't muscly. The doctor was like, "Do you smoke weed?" And I was like, "No," but I didn't tell him I did steroids, right? So this is really puzzling, because there'd be no reason why you should get bitch tits, because you're obviously not on steroids, so it can only be weed.
So smoking weed does it as well?
Yes, if you smoke, a lot of weed smokers get bitch tits.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it's one of the side effects. Well, listen
either.
and learn, baby. You get bitch tits from smoking weed.
Oh,
Google it right now.
Well, smoking weed makes me paranoid, so now if I smoke weed, I'm going to be paranoid that I'm getting bitch tits.
Oh, well, in a seamless segue, guess who's bought the ultimate vape for the DMT one-shot experience? I've got it, baby. I've also
show us your crack pipe, Darius.
Do you want me to go and get the crack pipe?
Go and get your crack pipe.
Well, it just looks like a vape, but I can do a demonstration of how you do
DMT.
Of how you do it, of how you do DMT.
Are you going to do DMT right now?
Well, will it get pulled from YouTube?
I doubt it.
Why?
Please, can you do DMT right now?
I'm not sure I want to do DMT live on air. I haven't done it yet.
Bitch tits, come on. Let's
I can show you. I can show you the. I'll do it.
You were happy to do acid before he went on stage at this festival where you had to do half an hour.
You know why? Because the last time we did DMT, it burnt the shit out of my lungs, so I need to just chill out and relax.
Well, that's why you've got a new crack pipe.
Yeah, this is vape. It doesn't burn it, you said.
Well, that's what they've said. All right. I want to test it on Leo first, obviously. Listen, the way...
Stop using other people as human trial.
I love how Darius uses people as guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I don't want to die.
He's like Bill Gates.
Guess who I'm seeing tonight?
Who?
Jesus, if you do DMT, come on.
Serpent mother.
Former nemesis, now friend, former comedy collective admin impresario, Simon Kane. And I've asked him if he wants
Simon Kane DMT.
Well, I asked, I said, Simon, do you want to do some DMT? And he said yes. So By the time Simon's watching this, he might have been into another dimension because I'll have or if he dies, that's nothing on me. It wasn't part of my plan.
Amazing.
But I will do it and I'll report back.
Well, show us your crack pipe.
Show us the
All
pipe.
right, we'll wait here and I'll.
Oh man.
Luckily, his internet's so shit, it'll just freeze on his face while he goes. So it'll be like he's still in the room. He's got that acoustic.
That Wally.
That's
That Wally in the
Yeah, I was
and that's
gonna say.
acoustic padding, acoustic foam.
One panel.
He's taking
Just one panel.
That Wally's cool though.
Yeah. This is it's much better background. Is he going to start a Twitch channel, do you think?
It looks very twitchy,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Do you hear about Jeff Leach? Do you know Jeff Leach?
Jeff Leach, the comedian who's been cancelled for...
Misogyny?
Yes.
I think it's misogyny.
I heard about it on a podcast. So he's in LA though, isn't he? He's not
He's in LA, and I didn't realize this, but he's the voice of Ghost.
That was it.
In Call of Duty.
That's it.
Oh
He's
yeah,
been
I
cancelled.
didn't believe that.
He's the voice of who?
Ghost. So I'm not sure, but Call of Duty is like this huge game, so it's like being in Avengers or something like that.
lot
But he's
of
been
money.
dropped. Yeah, a lot of money.
But what
He's
what
the
is it?
voice of Gold.
Do we know what?
Yeah, it's a character in this video game.
Yeah, and he got dropped.
He got dropped by Activision, who make the game.
What did he say or do?
He said there's so he does stream. He does this Twitch streaming. So it's basically it's one of these things I just can't fucking understand. People watch other people playing video games, which is like the most boring thing in the world. It's like you had to do it back in the day if it was like a Mega Drive game that you could only have one player, so you had to like wait for your mate to finish playing
But
so
people
you could have a
watch
go.
people watching TV, Google Box.
Yeah, what the fuck? It's like you can't even. And also, even in the video games themselves, there's one called The Sims, and you got to make your character like make food and like go to the toilet and do all this boring life admin. That's the boring bit in your own life. You got to go to the toilet yourself. People aren't bored enough doing that. You've got to have some video game character going to the toilet as well. And like, surely you should have some escapism instead of just admin.
I don't know.
I,
But what did he do though?
So he was misogynist. He called. He had some sort of beef with another Twitch streamer who's a woman who's got dyed hair. So obviously, if a woman's got dyed hair, don't say anything about her. Don't talk to her. Don't mention it because she's gonna she's looking for something to start a hashtag about.
Yeah. So what did he say?
So he said that she was. He said some nasty things about her appearance and stuff like that. And now he's been cancelled.
And Activision dropped him.
Dropped him as the voice of Ghost.
So she reported him, and they had footage of him saying these things, or was it like screenshot?
Yeah, somebody recorded the footage from his Twitch stream of him saying like, she's a big fat slag or whatever.
I saw
he
it.
said,
They edited it
got
together.
it here. Should we try and play it? Or?
Yeah, let's play it.
Yeah,
All right.
let's
Let's
play
see
it.
if this works. I hope this doesn't come in too loud.
Oh, this is big news.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can't hear it.
Oh, here it is. It's not funny, Mooch. That's a hate crime. Why does your thing crop out all the...
It's because it goes really big screen. I'll see if I can make it smaller.
He fucked up. He got played, man. Like Leo said,
I can't hear anything he's saying.
So he's saying she's got a fat arse and she can't, like, nobody wants to have sex with her and, all that kind of stuff.
But let me hear the dude say it.
Okay.
Mooch play.
Play it again.
But play it with volume, Mooch. That might help.
Play, and also
just-
play it so it shows it.
Okay. Give me a second.
Instead of, like, cropping into, like, one corner of the screen.
I'm tired of this back chat. The pressure has got to me now. Right. Screen share. Right.
Great.
We gotta send Mooch on a course.
Yeah. Here we go.
Fuck.
That was it.
Yeah, I know, but then
That
it
was
goes
perfect,
really big.
Mooch.
Was that perfect?
That was
Yeah.
perfect, the first bit. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, look at that.
Play. Just click play. That's all you gotta do.
Fucking looking emo bitch who looks like she fucking has no chance of getting a bit of dick in her.
Yeah.
Right, Leah, suck my fat girthy cock, you stupid cunt.
Oh.
Shit, you're gone. You're
Oh, for fuck's sake.
out of here. That shit's not coming into my community.
Right, I fucked it up again. Right, well,
Yeah, Mitch. Like,
Post the link in the group, Mooch. Post the link in the group. I'll watch it later.
still playing.
Mooch.
I have had a stinker. Well, look,
All right, we get the gist of it, man.
Yeah.
Well done.
So Jeff was saying.
But yeah,
he's got
post the link
fat
in the
arse
group,
and-
Mooch.
what
all
group?
In the WhatsApp group, so I
Okay,
can watch it later.
Okay, fine. Yes.
You post it on YouTube. Like the link under
I'll
the
post
YouTube.
it in the link.
And then everybody can, all 109 subscribers can watch it.
Don't forget to like and
112.
subscribe. 112.
112! Holy fuck, exponential.
Yeah. It's really to the moon at the moment, as
Yeah.
they say. I didn't think it was that bad. I think you're kind of like you say horrible shit when you're sort of playing sports, and I suppose esports is a thing. And was she saying horrible stuff to him, or?
Well, that's the thing. We haven't seen that, but I bet she was. Other people. So somebody else. He got called out by somebody else who previously had beefs with him online, and he'd like sort of threatened the guy with violence, saying, "I'm going to pop your head off your shoulders" and all this sort of
But
stuff.
that's in the game.
It's trash talking. Well, that was on Twitter.
Oh,
but
right.
I mean, that sort of trash talking, I thought, is fine and it's part of it. But now that everybody's trying to sanitize, not that I'm a fan of Jeff Leach and not that I think he's a particularly good comedian or anything like that. In fact, he's not. But everybody's trying to sanitize everything. So nobody, Jeff, gets cancelled for saying, "Oh, you're fat emo looking bitch and can't get any dick" or whatever.
I mean,
and then the next thing, and eventually we won't be able to say anything that's like at all contentious.
Well, sports, esports, or computer games, video games does have a very toxic sort of base. People do I've seen clips where sort of black gamers sort of time how long it
My
takes
brother was telling me about this.
before the N-word is dropped.
Right.
And there's one guy who times it and he gets a record and all he says is
under a
BLM
second. Yeah.
and then
No.
0.39 seconds later.
Apparently, there's one who gets one sub 2 seconds or some shit. He says, "I'm black, y'all."
And it's like, ah! And then N-bombs just drop in.
I
everywhere.
was because I did my special, right, and I put it out. My mom, she hated it that I was cussing in it. She's
Right.
like, all these bad words you're using. And I was telling her, like, the only reason, I never used to really cuss that much, but the only reason why I started cussing was when I started playing Call of Duty. And as soon as you go on there and people find out you're black, they start calling you the N-word and shit. So you got to reply to them. So you just start cussing them out, man.
But
So, yeah.
that was my joke. I used to do an exact joke about that because people used to think I was black online, and they just used to just drop their N-bomb on me all the time. So I did a joke where I replayed that, but I don't think you can say it in 2021. But I did just sung what they sung to me. But it was
they
kind of
sing it to
racist.
you?
So basically, I'll be playing Call of Duty. They'd think I was black. Like, "Come Dalston, I swear down, come Dalston, I'll stab you, come Dalston." And then you shut up. Then they just started to the tune of money, 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 money. They just start some guy for the whole game. He didn't go up, he didn't go down. He just sung it straight, right? Which is more annoying because I couldn't even get him to shut up. He just sung the N-word at me, right? And at the end, when it goes money, it dropped faggot. It goes faggot, which is also homophobic, by the way, right? So he did that for 10 minutes, right? But the worst part, because he didn't go up, didn't go down, wasn't getting rolled, the worst thing, other than the blatant racism, other than the blatant homophobia, right, was that it was a catchy song. The song got stuck in my head because it was to the tune of money, 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 money. So that was the joke. It was funny at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, in other news, I've got my DMT vape. Here it is.
Hey!
Ooh. This is the thing, just in case any of you are thinking, "Oh, how do you do it?" You don't use liquid. There's coils there at the bottom.
We can't
I don't know if
see.
you can
Can't see Darius because it.
Hold it closer to your face.
Yeah.
Because it's.
There's there's coils, right? You put foil on there, and then you melt the DMT on the
Fucking
foil,
junkie.
so no
Welcome
liquid.
to
Oh, you
Crack
can get the
101.
foil. You get and put your teaspoon in it.
You know, it's hardcore once you say foil.
Yeah.
Not foil.
Anything
It's
that
not
requires foil.
No,
If you're not
foil.
making fucking
Incorrect.
brownies and you need foil,
Mesh.
Yeah.
You
You're a
need
junkie.
Mesh. You need
Mesh.
mesh, not foil.
Meth.
Still mesh. Mesh.
Mesh.
Your meth pipe.
Listen, just because you lot don't want to see DMT, don't love
Oh,
the
we
DMT.
do. We want to see you on DMT on a podcast. with
I don't
Simon
think it'd be
Kane.
excited to see me on DMT on the podcast.
Call of Duty
record that,
DMT.
you and Simon, and then go on Twitch.
Darius, I'm just worried that like were you taking drugs, it's gonna stop your prodigious output and hard work.
And all your endorsements, Darius. Think about the endorsements, man.
Ruin your
It's
reputation.
the endorsements that I'm worried about. I'm actually trying to edit my special together, but I've filmed it with the worst filming of all time. I've managed, so I used the projector. So I'm standing in the projector in the dark, all the footage shit. So it's absolutely useless, but I'm trying to edit that. The show's really good. Like the show, the first 10 minutes, which I could edit because we know you can edit anything look good, which I could take that out, and the rest of the show's really good. But I'm just like, there's bits where it's like, it looks like I've pirated a Chinese version of my own show. That's what.
Like
like
we used to get pirate DVDs that are filmed in the cinema.
Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like that. Like some people. In fact, at one point there is someone walking by because it's you walking by after you set your camera up, Leo. So you see you get up and walk past the camera.
The old
And I had
Hofstadter move.
Yeah, I had to put the light up so it's pixelated, so it looks doubly like, wow, this is a bootleg DVD of his own special. That's annoying.
How many was it? A 2 camera setup? 3 cameras?
So I thought, so I used Top Secret's camera and I used Leo's camera because I didn't have a camera at the time. The footage themselves, it would be good, but because I was using the projector and I had it on, the lighting's all messed up. So I'm like standing in the dark. Sometimes, for some reason, I'm standing in front of the projector with the projector projected on me because I thought, that will help the audience be able to see me. So it just looks awful. That's why I should never use a projector. But I want to put it out.
Be
so
a
that
real comedian.
Yeah.
Well,
You
that's
see
what-
Chris
well,
Rock.
listen.
Chris Rock, if you turn to this PowerPoint, you can see slide 47. It's very funny.
Listen, you can't round me up because I know if I do that in a comedy club, that thing's very difficult to follow. That being said, I want to
take a projector down and.
Yeah.
Listen, Mooch, I'll take abuse from Nico and Leo, but I'm not taking it from you. Fucking know your place, right? When it comes in the pantheon of comedians, you're at the bottom of it, right? I'll take it from Nico and Leo.
The mic has just gone.
I swear
Oh,
to
man.
God,
And
I
there's
will
there's
hurt
an
you.
opportunity now.
Has he frozen as well?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Darius could be the voice of Ghost now in Call
Yeah,
of
I'm
Duty.
gonna be the
Why
voice
why
of
don't
Ghost.
you shoot that guy? Shoot him now.
Anyway, the reason I want to put it out is that I'm forced to write new material that won't require projectors. Well, the last time I wrote material, someone else stole it off me, so I need to, it's doubly
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, you got to actually include the appliances on stage with you. You can't just write material about a fridge. You need the fucking fridge on stage with you.
Project it onto the fridge. Anyway, there
What's
you go.
happening with the?
Did you see what Chappelle said about Andrew Schulz?
Yeah, this was.
No, I didn't.
It's
What did he
get,
say?
And about slideshows.
What did he say?
I didn't see. What did he say?
Joe Rogan was bigging him up, really. Joe Rogan was bigging up Andrew Schulz, but Dave Chappelle wasn't having it.
Really?
He was kind of like shitting on it. He's like, so a
It's one way to look
slideshow.
at it. I mean, he didn't shit on it, but he just said it's not
He's
for
like,
me.
He's like, that's not what I do.
Yeah, which is true.
He's like,
I mean, could you imagine Dave Chappelle? Although he's just
Chappelle
launched
goes, oh, so he's doing a slideshow. I could do a slideshow kind of thing. He was slighting it. He wasn't like hard dissing it, but he's like, I'm not into it. I'm not interested.
Does Schultz normally do a slideshow? Because the stand-up I saw of him, he wasn't doing like slideshows.
No, it's-
No, he meant Joe was talking about
His Netflix.
his Netflix thing. The Instagram stuff he was doing, talking to camera, where he had lots of punchlines and lots of like little pictures and shit.
Yeah.
Schultz
And
version.
that gave him a Netflix
Right, yeah.
little series. And Joe Rogan was, talking about how great it is and for lockdown, how he figured something out. And Chappelle was just like, yeah, it's not stand-up though. You know what I mean? He was like, he was brushing it off.
Right.
Which is true. It's basically Schultz did his version of like the Daily Show. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like it's topical stuff, but not quite so one-sided, with lots of punchlines and kind of that news anchor sort of feel to it, where there's a graphic over your left shoulder and it's just gag per minute, and it was good. I thought it was good. I thought the Netflix stuff was a bit too much. It's too much for like. It was great when it's 10 minutes, but when it's an hour of it, or
It was an hour.
or 4 episodes, because there were 4 episodes of.
Well, I didn't watch it when it went to Netflix, to be honest. I just used to watch a couple of the clips on Instagram.
The Instagram stuff banged, I thought.
Yeah, it was
the Netflix stuff was not what I.
People don't warm to him though.
He's very arrogant.
Yeah,
Like
people don't warm to him.
I love him, but my missus doesn't.
Yeah,
just thinks he's got that sort
Yeah.
of.
You just take one look at him and people are like, he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not that.
He doesn't
Why
endear
is that?
himself. Because he's quite arrogant, I think, with it. But I think that's his persona, and it's got. He's very laid back on stage, and I think he's quite. I don't know if that translates as well when he's on a podcast and stuff. And mate, he's fucking balling. It's probably gone to his head. He's got the #1 sort of comedy podcast on Patreon.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know, he's
That
earning
must be lots of money.
like 70, 80 grand a month.
Jesus.
Just
How much do we get?
We haven't got a Patreon.
Yeah, we haven't. We've set it up, but I don't think we'd do well if we put it out there just yet. I think we need to get to at least 10 episodes before we do the Patreon.
What if we offer them the DMT episode?
That's definitely a Patreon episode.
I'd sign up to that Patreon. I'm going to cancel it after a month. But if I could watch Darius and Simon Kane doing DMT.
Yeah, no, I think people have blown it up bigger than it is, because I don't think Chappelle was intentionally slurring him, but I think a lot of people are taking that angle because
But it was a brush off. It was definitely a brush off. There's no way Chappelle doesn't know who Andrew Schulz is.
I don't think Dave Chappelle watches like as much TV and Instagram podcasts as
Nah, he would know of, and even things said that Akash said that he had given him praise on some comedy clip that Akash had put out. And if you know Akash, if you know of Akash, you will definitely know who Schulz is. So Chappelle was just like, yeah. I think he knows of Andrew Schulz.
Oh.
As you said, the biggest podcast other than Joe Rogan in terms of comedy related podcasts. So I'm sure he would have heard the name before, and he was just like, it's not for me. So I'm not saying he was outright dissing it, but he was just kind of like playing it down, brushing it on, like,
Yeah. But
then I also think the fact that Schulz came out and said that Patrice is the GOAT would be another reason that Chappelle might react like that, because
I don't think
Schulz came out and said
I don't
Patrice
think
is the GOAT.
Dave Chappelle's got that sort of arrogance about
But
him.
I think when you're that big,
Maybe he
those
does.
sort of things still kind of rile you up.
So what, he's pissed off that Schulz didn't say that Chappelle's the
I know
greatest
that's
podcast?
just my thought process. I think that Chappelle does know who Schulz is. The comedy world is small. We know of
Oh, yeah, he
comedians-
must know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He must know who Schulz is. So the fact that he kind of like was like, who did what? Yeah, not my thing. He was kind of playing it down. That's
Right.
my thought
Jeez.
process.
I wonder if they had a argument once or something.
You never know, but I don't know. I
The
think
comedy world is small, man. Especially at that, elite level. He has to know who Andrew Schulz is. Come on, and the guy got a Netflix thing. He has to, and he deals with Netflix all the time.
I don't know, man. I don't think the thing is
think
we
he
know
has to
it,
know.
but I don't know. Dave Chappelle's on the next level though. Like, would you be bothering if you're got your own show, your own specials? Would you watch anyone else? Like,
But he
I
must
know.
know. He must know who Andrew Schulz is. That's like saying
But
Volkswagen
he
haven't
would-
heard of
but
Tesla.
why would he be like? We follow Andrew Schulz on Instagram or whatever because he's like one of our contemporaries.
I don't.
Well, you don't because you're too old. And that actually is a perfect point. Dave Chappelle's probably about your age, so why would he follow a younger guy? He probably wouldn't.
I'm not saying follow.
He shouldn't, but I think he should know.
I'm saying know of.
So one thing,
Know of.
I think when Dave brushed it off, I don't know if he probably knows of Schulz, but he doesn't know of the Instagram bits that he was doing. Dave Chappelle only recently got Instagram, and I can guarantee you it's not him on there liking and scrolling. He's far too busy, or he's got a team of social media guys.
Maybe
who are
Trump
putting-
does it. Trump's got some free time in his hands. He's good at social
He's not allowed
media.
on social media, mate.
But he's allowed on Dave Chappelle's social media.
What's Dave Chappelle's social media?
or whatever. What are you talking about? Schulz. Yeah, he's allowed on Schulz's social media. Who's going to know? Schulz sends Trump his login details for Instagram or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Who's going to know?
Yeah. Isn't
Great anecdote, Darius. Fucking hell.
That sounded like a call to prayer.
That's like, you know, in the old days when you download a Spectrum game off the radio, it'd be all like.
It sounds like he plucking a ukulele.
Is it working? I can't listen. I was gonna say I follow Donald Trump on Telegram.
It's like, man, I've seen fucking footage from the Gaza Strip that's been like sent through live on somebody's mobile phone, and it's better than your setup.
Well, maybe a bomb will rain down on my house indiscriminately and kill me.
We'll probably get better reception. That was awful. But what were you trying to say?
I'm trying to say I follow Donald Trump on Telegram, and the man just spams. Donald Trump on Telegram just spam messages. It's like, fuck me, give up, Donald Trump. Stop sending me your spam.
Is Donald Trump on Telegram?
He's on Telegram, and I follow him because I was like, let me see what Donald Trump's like. But he just spams you. He just sends you, I've got about 1 million messages from Donald Trump. It's like, Donald Trump's messaged you. It's like, oh, piss off, Donald. Not again, man.
But is it the real Donald Trump?
Yeah, it's the real Donald Trump. So his latest thing
could be Andrew Schulz logged in.
It's not. It's the latest Donald Trump, right? And his latest message, well, fucking hell, 36 unread messages. He's like a needy bitch. It's a breaking news.
There goes
New polling by CBS News on the state of the Republican Party, which is very strong. President Trump has a strong hold on the GOP. 80% of Republicans agree with the removal of Liz Cheney. God, this is so long and boring.
How many followers has he got on Telegram?
1 million subscribers.
Really? I didn't know Telegram was that busy.
This is his main way of...
What happened to Paula?
Well, hold on.
I got taken down.
But this is where everyone goes. So Alistair Williams is on Telegram now.
How many followers has he got on Telegram?
I don't know. Let's look. I'll Google it.
Paula?
Parler was that app.
Parler.
But now they all do it on Telegram.
Parler actually got taken down.
Yeah.
Amazon and
Apple.
some other. Yeah, they took it off.
Yeah.
Amazon service took it off, and then the Apple, you couldn't download the app or something.
Which is genuinely worrying that, you know, tech companies can decide, you know, who and who can't speak, what you can hear and what, you know, all the rest of it. It's like, I don't remember Amazon being elected to some sort of position as sort of custodians of society.
Well, if you want to know about
how much Alistair got on there?
2.9 thousand followers on Telegram.
Nice.
Okay. Yep.
But those tech companies, the thing is, now it's starting to work the other way, right? Because let's leave our political ideals at the door. But as you know, the woke or the left generally are pro-Palestine, right? But now the Israeli government had a meeting with like Facebook, Snapchat, all of them, and told them to stop letting people spread Gaza posts. And they're censoring it that way. So because they've been so pro-censor, now they've enforced this is exactly what the right, ironically, were warning about. Now they're censoring pro-Palestinian posts.
People never think that. I mean, this is why the hate crime bill was so bad. People never think. People never think it's gonna
hit it, Mooch.
You know what the best.
They never think it's gonna come back and.
Hold on.
They never think it's gonna come back and bite them. You know, and it's immediately gonna come back and bite you.
You know what the best thing about that was? The way Leo brought that up imperceptibly. It was just like,
I was waiting for it, man.
And talking of tech censorship, Alistair Williams got his YouTube was taken down. He had, I think, about 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. He was making money off that because he was doing like live shows where people donated money and stuff. And he just like that's his livelihood. Like he's just had a kid, and like that's his livelihood. Just like pulled out from under his feet by these tech oligarchs, unelected overlords who have arbitrary rules, apply them, you know, without any sort of fairness or justice, and without any sort of, you know, oversight or regulation. I think, you know, we need some sort of regulative. The government needs to step in and like make sure tech companies are applying things fairly.
But the thing is,
But then people going to just say, "Oh, it's a private company."
that's what I'm gonna say. Like, is that not?
You know the rules when you sign up, and they.
But that's bullshit.
You're on their platform. That's what.
It's not. I mean, it's a utility. It's not. I mean, it's a public utility now.
So you want the government to regulate?
Yeah. It's like the water service. Imagine Thames Water decide to cut off your water. And they're like, oh, well, why don't you just go buy some Evian at the supermarket? You don't have to use Thames Water. It's like, no, like, you know, you got to provide, like, people need, it's fair for people to have access to the sort of ecosystem of public discourse. And to cut people away from that, fair enough, sometimes it has to happen, but it's got to be done fairly, it's got to be done transparently, and it's got to be done another thing. Cause
there's no way of managing that.
That's the
course
sheer
there is.
volume of people to individually manage and
Man, tech companies have got billions. They're making so much money off this stuff. So
yeah, but I mean for the government to come in and sort that out.
Well, they managed to do it with advertising. They managed to do
China.
it with every single
the government
other
run
thing.
the social media in China.
Yeah,
Well, again, I mean that's sort of where we're heading without some sort of.
It's going to be the corporations instead of the CCP.
Exactly. I mean, in China, the corporations are the CCP.
Yeah.
It's a mafia state. It's a capitalist mafia state.
I'm aware of what's going on.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's terrible that Alistair was taken down. With
I think it's terrible, but I also I don't know if the solution is that simple.
It's not that people will always want their political angle pushed.
Yeah, and that's why we have checks and balances. So we need some checks and balances.
Do you not think we just need another platform?
More competition.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, people are like, but it's a private company.
But then this is what happens. Then iTunes and the Google store step in.
Yep.
And then block those alternative platforms.
Exactly.
So that's where the problem is coming in.
Everybody went to Parler and it got taken down. Everybody's like, oh, it's a private company. Why don't you do another? It's like, well, people did. And then that got taken down. So apparently that's bad as well.
Yeah.
So maybe the app stores should be run by like.
Well, I think but I think the argument that the Google and Amazon had was when there was people sort of planning insurrections and terrorism stuff through that app, then they couldn't really be liable for that. Again, I'm not sure if this is true. This is just these are some of the sort of arguments that were floating around. So maybe that's.
Well, big tech platforms like
I suppose Telegram is you can buy guns and do all sorts of horrible stuff.
Social media platforms have always had as their defense. They've said we're not publishers. We don't curate this material. We're not responsible for it. So they've had the sort of they've had the defense that newspapers are responsible for what goes in the newspaper and they can get sued for what goes in the newspaper. Social media platforms say we're not responsible. We're just a platform. People are responsible for what they put up again. But if they go in and start editorializing, start saying, oh, this coronavirus information is wrong, start deleting stuff, banning people, all the rest of it, then they are acting as publishers. So they need to be regulated as publishers.
But in Australia, they stopped all news sites.
Yeah.
They banned all news sites because the Australian government were putting in legislation where they would have to pay news corporations for their services or sharing those articles.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, like Facebook and all these platforms are making so much money off their users. They're using the users' data, and the users. I think more power should be put back into users' hands, so they make the money off their own data, and they can move across platforms, leave a platform more easily. What the fuck is Darius doing?
What have you done to
Are you in a fish tank?
I'm plugging my laptop in, so I had to move my mic. That's all.
Wonderful. Put it back.
Yeah, what's the
You know what
next
we
topic?
haven't? Andy Hinchcliffe and
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe and
I'm glad.
Isn't he the former Sheffield Wednesday striker? Well, that's Andy Hurst.
Andy Hinchcliffe or Tony Hinchcliffe and Peng Deng.
Bang, dang.
Right in the middle of a Peng Deng.
That's racist.
Fun
Cancel
man's
Leo. Did you see the footage, everyone?
Yep. Did I share it in the group?
Did you see it? Did you see it,
shared
Nico?
in every single one of my WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, I saw I just saw Tony's bit.
So there's
I didn't
Tony's
watch
bit,
Peng
and then
Deng's bit.
Ari Shafir a couple of days later shared the whole set, Peng Deng's as well as the intro, as well as Tony Hinchcliffe's set. And Peng Den was did a set that was funny, but also did get quite emotional and earnest about Asian hate and suffering that or prejudice that's happened to sort of Asian people, and it was kind of a bit more clapping, agreeing sort of stuff rather than actually funny. And Tony Hinchcliffe came on after this bit referencing that and went in with the absurdist Asian hate. So it was funny in the room, but then Peng Den clipped out the bit where Tony clipped out the bit where he was quite emotional and sort of not funny, but kind of just looking for claps and sympathy, and just put out the bit where Tony was just dropping racist slur after racist slur after racist slur. It was funny. Tony, I don't think, should have used that language, but I do get where he was coming from. It won't ever fly over here in England, but over there, I don't know if
well, it obviously didn't fly over there either.
Well,
I think we need to cancel
it did in the
Leach.
room. Like in the room, it was funny, and it kind of
In the room, it got a few chuckles. It wasn't like a.
You could
Yeah.
see, you could see what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
You could see he was trying to prick that pomposity of the, the serious, the solemnity, the solemnness of like Peng Dang or whatever he's called, like, doing all this, stuff about it. And it's like, fuck me, it is a comedy club. You know what I mean? So he came out and like went way over the top the other way. And you see what he's trying to do. The thing is, it's 2021.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
that's
We've
what I'm
been
saying.
working like
Yeah.
1987. But you can't do that in
know that in
2021.
2021. Anything you say will be looked from all angles and
yeah.
clipped up and put on Twitter. He got to know better.
Nah, the thing
You
is,
gotta
I
know
watched
better.
it. I watched it, and then I watched the whole thing. I said, let me watch the whole thing, because when you only see one side and it's edited, then yeah. So I said, let me watch the whole thing, and I watched it. And I was like, nah, it's still racist. You can't. It was still racist. You can't.
but that was the point. That's the point of it. It's kind of
because
if it's
you
kind of
could
like
come
stop
out-
Asian hate, and then you come out with Asian hate.
Yeah.
That's the funny part of it. That's why it was funny.
But where he flopped is he could have done the whole thing but he
Without
didn't have
using
to
the
say-
slurs.
without using Chinese, the Chinese.
Yeah.
Whatever
As I
word
said
he
in the
used.
group, you
And
either
that's-
have to do the racist slur or the accent. You can't do both.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
then
think
there's
that's right.
comedians. There's comedians who come out, like Jerry Sadowitz comes out and does like, uses all the racial slurs, like comes out with the most horrific stuff. And for some reason it works. I don't know. I think it's because he puts himself down so low that everywhere he punches is punching up. But I mean, and also Tony Hinchcliffe, I mean, it was racist, it was wrong and stuff. But sometimes in comedy, you fuck up. And I don't know if people should, be...
Yeah, I just
Shut
think
down.
he should have known that it was gonna be recorded and gonna be put out there.
The other thing is, I mean, like, as soon as I saw it, I thought something was up, because the way it was just, the first tweet, the way it was just worded and how the clip was edited, it just felt off. And this guy has been on Tony's show before. He's open for Tony. They obviously had a relationship there, and it feels like just a massive setup. If someone I knew said something so horrible and offensive and it upset me, I would probably talk to them and deal with it privately.
What if you saw an opportunity to promote yourself by sharing it and doing articles in Vulture?
Yeah, I mean,
like that?
which is where I think it's like, look, he has every right to deal with that how he wants to. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm in his position and I've been called out in front of a whole room for being, an Asian or sort of like, pandering for or using my ethnicity to garner sort of support. But it's not doing him any favors, and it's not how I would work if I was in his position. But then now he has got he had 600 followers, and I think now he has like 6,000.
Right.
And it's kind of it's turned out to be a positive thing for him if you look at it from a career point of view.
But where's he going to go next? You know what I mean? It's like all those followers are going to be like, what comedian you exposing next? And nobody's going to be racist in front of Peng Dang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody did it, got burnt, career destroyed. So like Peng Dang, he's going to disappoint all his followers by not being able to out anybody else.
I also
as
don't
racist.
think Tony's career is destroyed because he's got his own podcast and he's got his own audience already.
But he's been
Dropped by his agent.
Yeah, he's been dropped by his agent. He's had 2 appearances on Joe Rogan's podcast, cancelled, I believe.
Cancelled, but I think it's one of these things where it wasn't
He
Joe
will
Rogan.
still have a career.
Yeah.
Just not as illustrious
As a cleaner.
No.
He can still
Like,
have a
look, he's
career.
not, he wrote for roast battles and stuff like that, and I don't think those opportunities are gonna come back. But I don't think they're doing.
But
that.
being on Rogan is big though.
I don't think Rogan has dropped him. I think it's like, look, let's just park this for a bit, and then we'll talk about it in a month or 2 when the dust has settled and someone else is in the crosshairs.
Do you think Joe Rogan has to worry more about like sort of being more woke and stuff now that he's on a mainstream platform? He's on Spotify or whatever.
I think Joe Rogan was always quite careful about how he said things. I don't think he ever looks to sort of. He's not a troll. But he doesn't also want that smoke. But he never wanted that smoke. He just posts his stuff and gets on with it. And he's got that fuck you money now, so he doesn't really need to give a fuck about anything. If he wanted to put Tony on a show, he'll put Tony on a show. He had Anthony Cumia on his podcast.
Who's that?
No, bro. I don't agree with that. When he's with Spotify, certain episodes are being pulled down.
Yep.
Off of Spotify, and certain things are being questioned. Whereas before, I would agree with you, when he was on YouTube, he would say what he want, put it up there, boom, boom, boom. He's having to answer a lot more questions now than previously.
Yeah, I'm not. The spotlight is on him now.
There is Spotify staff who try to pull him up because Spotify got a lot of woke people working for them, and he gets pulled up.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying that guests like Anthony Cumia, who got, I don't know, from the opening Anthony show, he lost that job because of some wildly racist tweets that and the guy, Anthony Cumia, hilarious, but it's probably a bit racist. You know, he's said some wild shit while he's drunk and tweeting. But he's, you know, but then was also best mates with Patrice. You know, he says racist stuff, but is probably not as racist as you think he is. But he's just had Anthony Cumia on the show. So if you can put that shit out there, like with if you can.
But has he had Kramer off Seinfeld on the show? Because he's the one who really went down in flames, man. That guy. I've never seen anybody burn their career so completely. That was before all his woke bullshit as well. Man, watching that video was just like, whoa, man.
Well, Dave Chappelle famously defended him. Do you remember Dave Chappelle when he saw that?
It was a qualified defense, and it was a very funny, a very funny bit.
You'll get him next time. Dave Chappelle said the comic in him saw Kramer just losing it and just go, you'll get him next time, and just sort of like putting himself in his.
Yeah, he said I mean, as like what he's saying is definitely racist, but as a comic, like you're sort of watching it going like, man. I can't remember the bit actually. He's funny though.
But yeah, well, Kramer, I don't think Kramer. Well, Dave Chappelle is starting a podcast. Yeah,
it's behind the paywall
this motherfucker
as well.
jumping on our bandwagon.
Our 108 subscribers.
112.
Sorry.
Well, the interesting thing that I kind of saw.
Yeah, it's on Luminary or some shit.
It's on Luminary.
Yeah.
It's a very limited series of conversations with people like Mos Def, and they're releasing it on vinyl.
So the fuck?
The podcast.
What sort of hipster fucking bullshit is that? Jesus Christ!
It's kind of
vinyl.
Very Dave Chappelle. I mean, I
think of the wankers that'll buy that.
If you've been to Dave Chappelle's show, he loves shit like that. He was selling like $300 hoodies out after his London show.
The fuck is that's ridiculous.
Mental.
And you can get like anytime you go see a band, they've got their merchandise and it's like £30 for a t-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
Go outside, there's ones in the pavement for like you can get 2 for a tenner.
Yeah. I didn't see any of them. Schulz should be selling some of them outside.
He's not for the common man anymore.
No.
Yeah. It's gone like Manchester United.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
But yeah, I mean, look, I don't think Dave Chappelle is doing a podcast to try and, you know, maybe that's why he shut on Andrew Schulz. He's seen the competition and he wants to poo-poo him before he sort of launches his luminary.
Yeah. Is there any?
My problem with Chappelle though is bring out a funny special, man. Tell some jokes. I'm tired of all these talks and lectures and history lessons. Just give us some jokes.
Are you cussing Chappelle for not being funny enough?
Oh.
No, he is funny. He is, and he's got some funny specials. But the last 3 have been.
You know why?
Him
you
talking,
know why that is?
And yeah, I get philosopher. He's transcended. I just want some jokes, man.
Yeah.
Go back, be funny, man.
This is my theory that I've just made up literally on the spot. Dave Chappelle has assumed the mantle of every white person's favorite comedian that Louis C.K. let slip from his grasp after the allegations of masturbating in front of female comedians came out. Because of that, now he can't just do the funny jokes like, hey babe, go home. He can't do that joke anymore. So now he's got to do a bit more verbose, like, oh, I'm more than comedy. So I think that's why. But
What?
Dave
Louis
Chappelle,
C.K. never did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
no, but my point is, because that's
I see what you mean.
the implicit white
So
bias.
Dave Chappelle is the new Louis C.K.
But Louis C.K. wasn't doing that type of comedy.
No, Louis C.K. did really
lecturing.
thinky, philosophical.
He did
But it was
some-
funny.
Yeah, I
It's
guess,
funny.
yeah. But sometimes it was a bit too thinky. It was sometimes a bit like watching Inception or something.
What?
But
Nah, Louis C.K. shit was funny.
yeah, but it was it was for smart people.
Nah.
It wasn't.
He was basically everyone's white person's favorite, right? But Dave Chappelle, when he was at his...
I, as a black dude, rated Louis C.K. A lot of black people rate Louis
Yeah.
C.K. highly.
Yeah.
He's he's the best writer.
Yeah, stop being
Listen,
racist, Darius, saying that
I'm
black
not.
people
You're
don't
being
like Louis
racist.
C.K.
I'm trying to tell you my theory.
I'm
that I've just
supposed
made
to
up
be
on the
racist.
spot.
Stop speaking for white people.
I don't agree with that theory.
You
Darius,
haven't. You
'cause
didn't. I didn't finish the theory off. Every time I'm talking,
That's
you
a
interrupt
fucking
me. Oh,
PhD.
hold on a second. Hold on. I don't think this. I think. Oh, Louis C.K. masturbate in front of me. Oh, please. I won't tell on you, Louis.
Yeah,
Oh,
turn him
go
on,
on.
Darius,
Go on.
Darius, have you masturbated in front of any comedians?
I don't
He's actually
think so.
thinking about it. Like,
Not to my knowledge. I haven't. Look, truthfully, actually, I'm not gonna say that. I don't need to. I was gonna.
Actually, 2 female comedians, well, not recently, but over the last 6 months or whatever, have independently, just in conversation, said that they can't get laid off male comedians anymore, and it's obviously
are they ugly?
no, but it's obviously because but they're like, why, it used to be easy, now it's incredibly difficult. And it's well, you made it completely it's the riskiest thing a comedian can do is shag another comedian now, because if that comedian gets pissed off or whatever, they can totally destroy your career by saying one tweet, and that's you dead and gone.
I have a friend who got kind of Weinsteined by someone. He works in the TV industry.
Yeah.
And he was shagging this girl who, went out with a drink with this girl, and he was told not to be shagging extras anymore. He works on TV sets, and he told this girl was cracking onto him, and he was like, "Look, I can't really do this. I've been told I can't shag anyone at work by my immediate boss." And she went, "If you don't do it, I'm gonna tell everyone that you have done it anyway."
Oh my god, what a fucking judo move!
I know.
That's
I know.
amazing.
What did he do?
He didn't do it. He didn't
No
do
way.
it, which I don't believe.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it's because he didn't fancy it. He would have. He's a complete scumbag.
Did you see
Big
that?
shout outs to you, Adam Brides.
Did you see
Respect
that?
Adam Bride.
Did you see that John Barrowman, Noel Clark thing?
No, what was this?
Did you see it, Mooch?
No,
So
John
Clark-
Barrowman, the camp.
Is he gay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Noel Clark, when they busted him, he was talking about, they were doing a round table discussion type thing, and there was an audience, and he was discussing how John Barrowman acts on set. and he was just saying about he would pull his dick out all the time and put it on women's shoulders and slap them in the face with it, and it's just crazy, man. And then people pulled up John Barrowman on Twitter and were like, "This is what despicable behavior, blah blah blah, kind of thing.
And what
Crazy
did John Barrowman, has he had any sort of?
He got a bit of backlash, but it wasn't obviously as big as what Noel Clarke
Yeah.
got. But yeah, Noel Clarke was acting out how John Barrowman used to
Right.
act on stage.
Right.
Actually putting his dick on people's shoulder, and then there's even
That's a big dick move. Like, you don't do that if you got a small dick.
Yeah.
So like,
and then there's
John
even,
Barrowman
like,
must
a
be
recording
packing.
of him saying he's gonna get his dick out or some shit like that. It's mad, man.
Yeah.
But do you think he gets away with it because he's
People
camping?
were saying that, because he's gay. That gay men get away with,
Well, it's just
that kind of is true. There's that guy in Ireland who's really a real meteoric ascent. He was a bit like Leslie Crowther, who used to present The Price is Right. I can't remember his name, but he got Me Too'd. He was a gay guy, and he got Me Too'd. A lot of male comedians said that they'd been, touched inappropriately. My mate was touched inappropriately, but right before he went on stage, guy just grabs his dick, and then he's got to go on stage. But it's like, my mate didn't think there's anything malicious or sexual about it. He thought it was just to sort of, like how you jokingly fuck with somebody
Lads
right
banter,
before they
yeah,
go
yeah.
on stage. Yeah.
But I think a lot
It's
of
a
that
little bit
is-
abusive.
It is, but I think a lot of it is with female comics is kind of the power dynamic. So like,
Yeah.
if it is like if a guy does it to you, it's probably a guy similar sort of size to you. You're not physically threatened unless it's fucking Conan the Barbarian who's fucking doing it to you. But if it's a guy doing it to a girl, there is always that. Okay, cool. He may be joking, but also he could, if he wanted to, overpower me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that, but I also think lads don't really have the same. I don't think they give us much of a fuck about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, I just don't think, as a man, like, if you grab my dick, I don't, like, it's not much of a problem.
So if you see Leo in any comedy club, this is open season for you to grab his dick.
Yeah.
It's at fucking eye height anyway, because he's so fucking tall. But yeah.
Well, I got sexually abused by a doctor who went to jail. And like basically I went in because I got run over. I got run over when I was like 17 or whatever. So I had a year in hospital and I was being put on like morphine every day and stuff. And then when I came out, I had a sort of drug habit from that. And I was doing way too many drugs. I was like 18, I went to university and stuff, but I was doing way too many drugs. And I just went into this sort of mad, like sort of depression from the only time I felt normal was when I was like taking drugs or whatever. So I went to the doctor and the doctor said, well, look, it sounds like you've got depression, but first I need to check your testicles. And so it's like drop your trousers and get on this trolley. And then he fondled my testicles for, I'm not joking, about 15 minutes. He's playing with my balls. And at the time I was thinking, oh man, this guy's giving me the full fucking service on the NHS. He's not missing anything with Matt. I'm walking out of here with fucking, the best testicles in the world.
a full MOT.
Yeah, this is like Bupa service on the NHS. And then I didn't think anything about it. He gave me
your prostate as well.
he gave me antidepressants, which were amazing. I wish I could go back on them. It was unreal. It was like being
you
in
can
Dawson's
if you
Creek
just
or
have
something.
another little ball fun.
Yeah, but oh man, they were great. I was hugging my dad and stuff. It was just, it made
What
me too
antidepressants did they give you?
it was Lustrol, so sertraline hydrochloride. But yeah, they're amazing. But yeah, so then like, about a year and a half later, I was on the phone to my mate. I dropped out of uni, and my mate was like, "That, did you hear about the campus doctor? He got done for sexual assault." I was like, "No way! What was he doing?" My mate's like, "That anything you went in for, like dislocated shoulder, like sprained ankle, whatever. He was fondling your testicles for 15 minutes." I'm like, "No way! He did me! He did my testicles!" My mate's like, "What were you in for?" I'm like, "Depression." He's like, do you not think it's a bit weird that you're in for depression and like, the guy just wanted to fondle your testicles? I'm like, I'm not a fucking doctor. You just trust what a doctor says. You don't fucking question it. Like bend over and cough and I'm going to stick my thumb up your arse. Whatever it is, you never like, oh, is this medically necessary? You're doing this for your own sexual gratification. But yeah, the reason he got caught was there was a guy
The reason he got caught because he was fondling people's balls for depression.
Well, you wouldn't like if you did it to once. Nobody's gonna fucking know. I just thought that was part of the thing. Some hormonal thing, or you don't question what a doctor does. But the guy who blew the whistle, and then other people came forward because they realised they'd been diddled as well. The guy who blew the whistle had been in 3 times with 3 different things. None of them at all testicle related, and each time got the ball fondling treatment. The third time he's like, "Oh,
It took
wait
him
a
3
minute."
times to realize these guys are dumb as fuck. It took him 3 times. He's like, "Hang on a minute.
Wait a second.
This is dry scalp here." Oh, these guys are nuts. Shit.
So that
That's
was it.
to pardon the pun, but that's some balls on that doctor.
Yeah, well, man, I mean, I sort of feel you're a wife and kids and stuff, and I sort of feel sorry. I mean, apart from that, he was a very good doctor.
Oh, well, look, did he cure your depression?
He did.
Well,
no, that, but the
fucking
first
moaning.
The first doc, I'm not moaning. Like I thought, like, you know, obviously I'd rather people didn't fondle my testicles without me knowing. But like, you know, I don't feel any sort of malice or anything. I feel sorry for the guy. But like, funnily enough, the first doctor I went in to see, where I was like, oh man, I'm like, you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've like, this is what's happened. I've been, you know, I was run over, and like now I'm just on drugs all the time and stuff, and I just feel I can't feel anything. Like I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't get a boner and stuff. He was just like, "Oh, pull yourself together and fucking," you know. And I was in a bit. He literally was man up, which is normally great advice. Like every other time, it's great advice, but this time I actually did need antidepressants.
It's a bit weird. I mean, how we're literally talking about Leo being sexually assaulted by a doctor, and we are just laughing about it. Like we are. But if this was a girl who was being sort of like, I think there would be a different sort of atmosphere in the room. Maybe because I suppose it's how if you delivered it and you were like really somber about it.
But did you see the way Leo was dressed, though? That is the issue here. Right?
I was in budgie smugglers with some bright blue balls.
He was wearing a ball gown, and
His left testicle popping out seductively.
But yeah, I thought the doctor like giving me antidepressants and fondling my balls was much better than not giving me antidepressants and not fondling my balls. Yeah.
It was a small price to pay.
Yeah.
There was that that American gymnast doctor who he abused like 20 gymnasts or some shit. And the man used to do it with the parents in the room.
What the fuck?
Crazy. Yeah.
What did they know?
And they just trusted him. It just they didn't think that. Nah. Yeah. And some of the girls told the parents, and the parents were like, "This guy," because they'd be right there in the room.
Is one of the things,
and one of the things was that gymnasts, I didn't notice, gymnasts, they actually get, because they're doing all these splits and all this tumbling and shit, they do have to kind of get like vaginal probing to release tensions or something. Yeah, they do internal pressure release through the vagina or something like that.
What?
Yeah,
That sounds like something I'd say.
No, it was in that book. It was in this book by
Bill Cosby.
Malcolm Gladwell. He got a new book called Talking to Strangers, and he was talking about, apparently some muscle tissue in there can get tense or whatever, and they're going and da-da-da. But he was obviously going too far with it and doing crazy shit. Yeah, and the parents would be in the room, and he'd be back there doing that.
Yeah.
And the girls would be telling the parents, and he did it to like 20 gymnasts or some shit over a period of 10, 15 years. Mad.
Yeah.
Probably more, but
yeah, probably more.
That is mad.
Yeah.
I got molested when I was in hospital. One of the most dismal molestations. I broke my back, right? And
rate that molestation of all the molestations you've had.
It was perfect. It was so bad. So I had a catheter, because they trick you into getting a catheter when you're in hospital, right? So the catheter in my dick. Anyway, I would get sponge bathed every day. One day, this like really old nurse, like this is a true story. This old nurse came in, and they said it's sponge bath, and usually they'd sponge bath you all over, and then when they come down to clean your dick, they'd give it to you and you'll do it yourself. But one day, and this is how they take advantage of you, because I was so doped up, I felt I was dying. I was really sick. I was on so much morphine. Anyway, instead of giving me the sponge, she picked my dick up by the catheter, right? So it was held up like a tiny
It wasn't
maggot.
that high.
No, that's my dick shrunk to like non-existent things because of all the drugs and because it's not huge. Anyway, no, I'm joking. Anyway,
pipe stuck down it.
She pulled it up by the catheter and then she just started wanking me off. And I started thinking to myself, I think I'm being molested. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It was just awful. It happens. There's nothing you can do. It was the worst thing.
Was it horrible?
And then it was horrible. Oh, it was the worst thing. But even worse than that, when I was due to
there's a woman jerking you off.
It was a woman, an old woman. Imagine an old skinny woman, like old, short hair, really ugly. Everyone else, I'd get washed and they'd give me the sponge and I'd wash my own balls and stuff. Instead of doing that, she took away the bedclothes so you could see my dick. She lifted my dick up by the catheter. So she picked up the catheter so it looked like she was going fishing with my dick, right? And then she just slowly wanked my dick up and down. And I just remembered I was in so much pain. I felt so sick. I went, this is just another thing to add to a terrible, terrible day. But the worst thing is when they came.
This is so hot, Darius. Keep going.
What was she saying to you when she was doing this?
Nothing. You know when you both know something wrong is going on, but you don't say anything. You're just like, this is just. It was awful. And then to make things worse, a guy put the catheter into my dick, and that was fine because it was just like a professional moment between men, right? But when it came to take the catheter out of my dick, they got two student nurses who were like 18 and 17, and they were so hot, and we've come to take your catheter. Anyone? Darius has just come. That was just perfect. Please, can you just get someone old and I'll cut. And then my dick had just basically shrunk into my body. It was so humiliating. It was like, oh please no. It was awful. So anyway, that's my rape story.
And what did funny? You didn't tell anyone?
Man, I almost died. I got transferred to another hospital. Getting wanked off by an old woman was the least of my worries at the time. I was serious.
Was this for your back or?
Yeah, it was so basically I went in for my back, right? It was so painful. Don't ever break your back. It's one of the most painful operations you can get. I couldn't get an epidural because it couldn't fit into my spine for whatever reasons. So I had a clicker for morphine. But I overdosed on that, so they took the clicker away from me. So I got so sick. Anyway, so essentially that was the least of my worries. I had to get an emergency blood transfusion and stuff because I shat myself to.
Yeah, I nearly died from blood loss. I'd lost how many fucking pints was it? Like 7. Like I basically had all the blood in my body sort of put in again.
Holy shit!
You shot yourself, Darius?
Man, I was in hospital, right? They give you morphine, and it's funny, right? You don't shit. Well, you can't shit. So I was in hospital for 2 weeks. I hadn't done one shit, right? Then suddenly, after 2 weeks, I felt the shit come to the fore, right? But I couldn't stand up. So you're shitting on a bed plan. But I don't know if you ever tried to shit on a bedpan. It's basically like shitting on a plate while you're lying down, right? So I'm in the bed, and it's the NHS. So I'm just in the ward, right? So there's no dignity. There's a curtain between me and everyone else. In the bed next to me, there's a kid who's been in the hospital in National Orthopedic. He's been in even longer than me, right? So he's been in for like even longer, which is a long time. NHS want you out. His whole family are there to give him an inspirational pep talk. And I distinctly remember the doctors going, listen, George, you're completely physically fine now. Your whole body's healing. This is a mental issue. You need to just get up and you need to do your physio and and just at that point, I started to take a shit. It was like, he goes, you need to get up and you need to, you need to get up. I did so much shit. It started dripping off the bed.
I bet it went fucking Leo, whatever his name is, got up after that though.
Yeah,
to get up out of that bed is just a man shitting himself through a curtain,
exactly,
like 2 feet away.
Well, that's exactly what happened. But then after that, I needed another shit, right? So I was like, this feels great because I hadn't shitted for 2 weeks. So I took this second shit, right? And the first time I looked down and it was just a river of shit, right? That dripped over so much shit, 2 weeks worth, all river, disgusting, right? The next time I was taking a shit, I remember because it was Barcelona versus Chelsea and I was reading the newspaper. It was the Champions League. And I started to feel a bit lightheaded. But I always thought, let me take another picture of this shit because I took a picture to send to my friend before. This is funny at least. So I went to look down, but the whole bed was red. I'd just been shitting blood for like 10 minutes. And I almost, the whole, like I'd had an abortion or something. I called the nurse and I passed out and they emergency transferred me. But I couldn't die like that because I wasn't going to have it there be like to my mom, how did he die? He shit himself to death. Not today, baby. Not today. So that's it's my harrowing NHS story.
When I was when I had like my sort of reconstructive surgery after getting run over, they had to do like skin grafts and stuff, and they told me whatever you do, don't move your leg. Because, like, if you move your leg, the skin graft can, like, you know, shear off. Like, it won't take. You know, at the moment, it's just got to sit there like a rasher of bacon until, like, it joins on to gets, you know, accepted by the leg, you know? So I was, like, just keeping it still as possible. So I had a strategy. I was only eating, like, hard-boiled eggs and, like, full English breakfast, like, for 2 weeks to try and stop myself needing a shit. Because if I needed a shit, I'd move my leg, you know? But that meant, like, after, so it lasted, like, 12 days or something, or 2 weeks. And then I went.
2 weeks without a shit?
Man, yeah, but I was only eating, like, you know, bacon and, like, you know, black pudding and hard-boiled eggs and stuff.
Does that not turn into poo?
Yeah, but, like, it's very dense. It's very dense. It's not like, you know, I'm not eating salads.
I don't know. I'm
not eating Weetabix.
I don't know. You're the one. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I just thought if you eat does bacon not turn into shit?
Yeah, but it's not just, like you fiber. If you eat lots of oats, you're gonna shit like twice a day. If you eat bacon, you're gonna shit a lot less. So and then I went, man, and it does turn. It turns into a fucking cannonball, man. Like,
but I thought if you ate like carnivore diet, it just goes straight through you.
I said, does that not turn into? That's funny. Oh shit!
What else have we got to talk about?
I went into surgery one time for my foot, but I didn't get jerk off or nothing like that. But it was my right leg, right?
Was this in Barbados or in the UK?
Yeah, in Barbados.
Well, that's why you didn't get jerked off.
And what happened was, it was my right leg, but somebody was saying, man, you going in the hospital, they're gonna fuck you up down in there, right? And I was like, nah, everything cool, man. But I go in there and they're gonna put me under, right? They're gonna give me anesthetic. And I see the nurse come in. And the nurse come in and she start wiping down my leg, you know, cleaning it and whatnot. And I think gonna shave it as well. But then I realized she's shaving the wrong leg. And they're about to put me on. Hey, is this one? I was like, Jesus, these people that now fuck me up, man. Shit.
Because that's happened, man. People have had like the wrong kidney taken out.
Yeah. I see this woman.
Wrong legs amputated.
Fuck
What was wrong with your foot?
I had, whenever I was playing football, I get this pain under my knee. And at first, I just thought it was a swelling, but the bone and the cartilage had meshed together and started to grow into this little ball.
Right, shit.
Should have just had your balls.
Yeah, it sounds like a testicle issue.
Testicle related. Yeah. I had a third ball in my under my knee. Yeah, so they went in and scoop it out.
Right.
Yes, man.
What else we got to talk about? Or we've been going for an hour and 18.
We should stop.
We should call it a day.
20 minutes before I need to, because I've got another pod and I need to do.
Also, I've got to go and meet Simon Kane now and make him try DMT. So
ask if he's ever had his balls fondled.
He's had his boils fondled. Sorry, Simon. It was a little joke.
Are we keeping that in?
No.
Okay.
Maybe not. Are we going to call it a day? Is that the end of the podcast? I think that's the end of it.
Yeah, do you want to do some plugs or just mention to follow us so that we can get up to 113 magical followers?
Please, if you've listened this way through, please, all we're asking is just subscribe, like and subscribe. Look, we're not going to charge you in the future. That's not our plan. We promise.
We're like
there's
Facebook.
No Patreon coming. There is really
free forever. And like
free forever.
You can subscribe and you don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch them when they get announced. All you need to do is subscribe so it looks like you're watching it.
That's all you need to do.
We would prefer if you did watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would help. And comment.
You don't have to. You could leave it playing and then go do something else.
Yeah.
Because watch time is important.
How do Spotify numbers don't go in? Someone told me they listen to the podcast on Spotify.
Yeah,
a random fan.
We're getting downloads on Spotify and other podcast networks. I still haven't got that other one that random dude asked for. I applied for it, but it's kind of a weird thing that I've never heard of. But I will get onto that, and we will eventually have more clips. We should probably have a little chat after this, just about clips and bits.
Yeah, tell Simon do some clips for us.
I'll inform him this evening.
Yeah.
The Comedy Collective has got suddenly really shit.
Is that your fault, Darius? Did
Yeah,
you
I think
Is it probably actually
100% prefer the old dictatorship of Simon Kane because it's just full of random open micers posting about their shitty podcasts.
Not anymore.
Just one shitty podcast.
Not anymore. I've deleted them all. They don't come only on a Sunday now. They're not anymore. I delete them all.
But the group is dead. No one
but Facebook's dead now, man. Who's on Facebook anymore? I never
just
go on
comedians
Facebook.
looking for gigs.
Some stuff on Facebook is good. Like I'm in all these specific groups. Like I'm in a group where everybody pretends to be a Democrat, and it's really funny.
It's called the Lib Dem group.
No,
I don't know. Yeah, we should probably post in some groups.
Yeah.
Would any of these groups like this pod?
I'll post it in the Comedy Collective and break my own rules. It's fine. But yeah, the Comedy Collective is dead now. You're right.
It's not really reactive. It's kind of no one is in there. I suppose comedy has been dead for the last year, so there's been no need for it. I suppose and it's just loads of people posting their.
It's starting to pick up now. If you look now, I'm looking today. There's a lot more offering gigs and talking in it now. I think maybe it was also because it was dead and that I wasn't trolling Simon, so people have given up on it.
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
Okay, maybe I've not looked into it. Do you want to do a little proper ending and then we'll go?
All right. Thank you for listening. I've been Darius Davies, joined as ever by Leo and Nico and Mooch. So thank you. Please like and subscribe. Every comment and all that.
Fucking energy. Oh my god.
Can you not do the outro? I'll do the intro. You do the outro.
I saw what Darius was doing there. He was doing the intro and he's trying to set it up for Leo and you, but Leo was looking at his phone and Nico was like, there was not the right energy there. You look like you were already checked out.
Why don't we just say bye for now? Bye.
Okay. Listen, watch my special on YouTube as well. Beijing in Britain. Watch that.
Oh, that's
all I got.
Watch my soon-to-be-released special, which looks like it's filmed at the back of a cinema. Probably next week.
Watch my film that's coming out in 2037.
Yeah. If you want to watch, I've got a Vauxhall Comedy Club vlog where you get to see all the inner goings behind running a comedy club and a podcast studio.
Thank you and good night.
Are you guys upstairs?
Yeah.
Well,
you not tell.
No, it looks the same.
Yeah,
it's the same container. It's just.
Okay. All right. I thought you
just
were in a
moved it
different
up.
space.
Yeah.
No.
Got it. All right.
All
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.